Welcome to this edition of the Wonderbury podcast.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dave.
You can find us online at wonderbury.com.
And I am D. Wonderly on Twitter.
Or I'm Brian Keatsbury, anywhere the internet can be found.
You can leave us questions on our Facebook page. Check for the link in the description.
Or use the website. And I think you can leave us messages on our Patreon where you can subscribe and pay us money to do what we do.
Now let's keep it to the Facebook and website or Twitter or... We just have way too many places, don't we?
We're everywhere, man.
We are everywhere expected to be. So how was your week, man?
Pretty awesome. I have a new aquarium.
Oh, nice.
I have 2 bitty baby axolotls. And they're cute.
Nice.
They're see-through. Well, the one's really see-through, and the other one's got some little bit of color to them. So that was fun.
Nice. Yeah, I got my kids. This was a spring break week for them, so I've got them for the next, through the weekend.
Woo!
And my oldest and my middle girl, both of their phones have decided that they don't want to work anymore. So this is what I get for going cheap over Christmas and going, okay, I'm buying these kids phones, but I'm not going to get them nice expensive ones. So I got them one a G4 and one at HTC M8. And looks like I'm having battery issues with both of them. So, Yay! Now I have a pile of phones that don't exactly work that I've got to figure out what to do with.
You know, Christy and I both had phone problems this week, too.
Yeah.
So, but we both have the Nexus 5X, and we both had the boot loop issue.
Oh, I had the boot loop issue on my 6P.
Oh, yuck.
That I was able to send back and get.
But that's a Motorola. That's different.
Apparently the 6P is Huawei. Huawei?
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Huawei? Huawei.
Yeah.
Nexus 6P. The 6 was, the big whale was the Motorola.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently the 5X has just god-awful problems with the boot loop thing. It's everywhere.
Yeah. I had a 5X that I sold to a friend of mine, and he contacted me and told me that we needed to do a account swap so I could push over to his name because he was having problems with that, so he could send it back and get a replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been reading a little bit on Reddit. If you get on the Nexus 5X subreddit, it is insane. Like, it is 90% people talking about their phones getting in a boot loop and being worthless. But apparently,
that sucks.
Apparently, there's a class action lawsuit against LG, so they're just fixing everything that gets sent to them.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully mine will get fixed pretty soon.
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm eyeballing one of 2 phones for my 6P replacement. It's either going to be the 2nd generation Pixel, or I've been really eyeing the OnePlus 5, 4, whatever it's going to end up being. That thing looks like it's going to be a beast. I had a OnePlus 1, which I absolutely loved for a long time, and apparently there's some frustrations I had with it being a small, startup phone company at the time and everything else. But apparently they've fixed a lot of their issues that they had, and so I'm kind of interested in possibly going back over there, because you can get flagship specs for half the cost. I mean, we're talking, I think the 3T right now has got equal to or better specs than my 6P, and it's $400 direct.
Wow.
So I think it might have more RAM than my phone does as well.
But is there a launch date for the new generation of Pixel yet?
It will probably... I'm willing to bet that it will probably be about the same time that they always do, which means it'll be third or fourth quarter.
Yeah. Probably October, I think.
Yeah. So the OnePlus 3T is the current. It's $440. And it's got the Snapdragon 821, 6 gigs of RAM, either 64 or 128 gig storage, fingerprint sensor, plus all the other sensory things. USB Type-C, but it is 2.0 Type-C, not 3.0, but it has what they call dash charge, which is their version of quick charge.
Yeah.
So it's a 4 amp charge system.
Oh, wow.
So 5 volts, 4 amps.
Nice.
And yeah.
The
fingerprint sensors front.
I've never been too concerned with the storage size on phones. But I don't game on them a whole lot, and I see where that would be an issue. I'm also really good about using my Google Photos as a backup.
Yeah.
And just letting that do its thing.
It's 1080p AMOLED 5.5 inch screen.
Oh, wow.
And then it's got 16 megapixel Sony IMX298 sensor. It will do 4K video recording at 30 frames a second, 2.0 aperture, has both OIS and EIS, so it both has the optical stabilization as well as the electronic stabilization, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then it has, it's got EIS for the front sensor as well. It's another 16 megabit or megapixel or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, not for the price. I mean, for the price, that's you get gunmetal gold and midnight black.
I think it's a little more than I paid for my 5X.
Yeah, but like I said, it's got, specs that could ravel around with my 6P and a couple $100 cheaper.
Yeah. You think the 6P would be a worthwhile investment if I needed to get a new phone?
Yeah, it still holds up very, very well. Just note that in November it'll be 2 years old.
Oh, that's true.
So I usually upgrade every 2 years. Or that's my goal, is to want to upgrade every 2 years. So I think that I'll probably be swapping out my 6P for a Pixel, like I said, a Pixel 2 or the new OnePlus. The reason why they don't know if it's 4 or 5, 4 is kind of a taboo number in China. So a lot of Chinese companies will skip the number 4. Yeah, 4 is like their 13 or something.
That's silly. Superstitious people crack me up.
Yeah, it's all over the place in the United States, though. I mean, a lot of buildings don't have a 13th floor.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Like,
so you sent me a fun
people that think that like red lighters are bad luck or yellow lighters or whatever region you're in.
Oh,
I'm like, no. Yeah. You know what kind of lighter is bad luck? An empty one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm so superstitious that I'll smash a mirror on a black cat under a ladder.
Yeah. Stepping on cracks.
You sent me a fun article this week.
Yeah. Garage doors, huh?
Holy cow, this was hilarious and also kind of eerie.
A little bit. I was actually kind of proud of the company. So the company is called Garage-it. It's like an amalgamation of garage and gadget. They make internet connected garage door openers. I didn't really read a whole lot about the product, but I imagine like if you have your smartphone in your car and you pull up to your, you're pulling up to your garage door, it automatically opens for you. Or you can unlock it from home or whatever. But apparently some customer had some issues with this and left a review on Amazon and somewhere else. I don't remember if it said it was on their forums or what. And then the company responded. The review was summed up as saying, "Junk, do not waste your money." And the company responded back. It was a lot longer than that, but the company responded back, said, "The abusive language here and in your negative Amazon review, submitted minutes after experiencing a technical difficulty, only demonstrates your poor impulse control. I'm happy to provide the technical support to customers on my Saturday night, but I'm not going to tolerate any tantrums." So they turned off his garage door.
Wow.
Yeah, so the garage door needs to be connected to their server to function, and they denied his particular unit access to their server, so it didn't function. It's kind of awesome because working in retail, like seeing people throw tantrums for silly things, I completely understand that side of it. I think it was a little bit much.
I think it sets kind of a dangerous precedent, though. I mean, because it now makes me rethink. What if it would have been, a internet connected door locks?
Yeah.
Would the guy just be able to randomly open up someone's door or unlock his door and say, "Screw you, no, you're not going to have any security this way"? What if it was a security company? I mean, this kind of brings up the whole, how much do you trust when you get these things? Trust other people and other people's servers? Because that's kind of from a retailer standpoint, it's always good to go, "Hurrah, screwed the guy," serves him right for bitching, or throwing a tantrum, because it looked like it was more than just bitching.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, do I really trust will I trust a company that has been known to just go, "Okay, screw you"?
Yeah.
Because that's, relying on other servers, and that even goes into, my whole Pebble thing. I had bought into the Pebble ecosystem. Well, they shut their servers off, and suddenly my Pebble is it just goes back to just a watch, which you don't buy a Pebble for just a watch. If I want to do that, I'll just go buy just a watch.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the same thing happened with Revolve when Nest bought him. But they gave... I don't remember fully what all happened, but I think they had... After Nest bought him, there was a certain amount of time, and then they got a refund or something. I know they tried to make it a little bit easier when they were shutting that service down.
Yeah. Well, they didn't just shut it down to oblivion either, though. I mean, they kind of transferred or tried to transfer everything over because didn't Google buy them?
Well, Google owns Nest, but Nest bought a company called Revolve.
Ah, gotcha.
In that service, they bought it just for the people. They bought it for the employees. And so the service, they shut it down. I don't remember all the details. I don't remember if it was one of those like 180-day things they normally do. I don't remember what all. It seemed like they refunded at least a majority of what customers had paid for it.
Yeah. So, that's one of the reasons why I haven't bought in deeper into the Internet of Things just yet.
Yeah.
For automation and home stuff is because I haven't fully decided whether or not I want to rely on another company's servers or another company to not just get ticked off at me if I have a legitimate issue and I just happen to catch someone on a bad day, or if I'm having a hard time and I don't normally blow up, but when I do, I can be quite the ass. But, do I want someone to just be able to go, okay, let's screw with this guy?
Yeah.
And so I've kind of been more doing a lot of research on utilizing Raspberry Pis and building a homebrew system. But I also understand that not everybody has that technical ability to build these things themselves.
Yeah, like that's something you and I could do, but it's not something my parents are going to do.
No, they're going to buy a box, a central controller box that'll plug everything in, or they'll just buy all the individual components and have 12 different apps to do everything that they need to do.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes down to is that, I don't know, what should be the privacy expectations in all this as well?
Yeah.
I mean, we see, at least here in the United States, we see privacy getting eroded by the government constantly, between, and we'll cover this in another episode more in detail, but, your browser history being up for sale now, not just for services you opt into, but everything you do on the internet. And there was a judge in one of the cases said something along the lines of, if you're online, you should have no expectation of privacy. Well, how does that ideal from a legal and regulatory standpoint step in with the Internet of Things? Do we, I don't know. What should be the expectation? Because I would say the expectation should be is that there should be a secure connection between whatever service I'm using and the device that I'm using. It, at a minimum, should be HTTPS. At a maximum, it should be a hell of a lot better than that.
Yeah.
With no one just being able to arbitrarily reach in and pull the plug out from under me.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
The other half of what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably end up building my own, posting the plans and making it very easy, including the image to be able to download straight to. You just download, input one command, plug this into your Pi, and plug the stuff in.
That's something
ideally that's the way it should be able to be done.
Yeah, and remember a while back I sent you a link to a project, and I don't remember what it's called now. But I was looking into aquarium sensors, and I wanted to try and build a sensor to track data from my fish tank, like the temperature and water level, different levels of the different chemicals that I put in for fertilizer and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of projects like that, and they're just so disconnected from each other. Like, if there was a better way to get them all, I don't know, bring them together, because that's where we're gonna end up. Anyways, is like we're gonna need 10 different apps to do 10 different things.
Yeah.
Well, really, I just want one app to be my home control.
Well, and Google's trying to solve that to a certain extent with Google Home and being able to pull in, okay, you can put these other things all together, and to a certain extent, IFTTT also helps with a lot of that stuff because you can gimmick those things in, but it's still a very fragmented. Everyone's trying to do their own thing because everyone wants to be the next big thing, and then you've got, Google with its home system and its own little voice activated system, and you have Amazon with Alexa, and she can do a bunch of these different controlling things, and it's very fragmented at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is why it still feels like a gimmick. It doesn't feel solid enough, because then you're having to check, okay, well, these plugs work. Well, this plug won't work, but this one will. But these light bulbs by the same company that made the plugs that don't work actually do work. And then you have all the Z-Wave things with a special Z-Wave controller that can do some things, but not everything. And it's been very frustrating trying to navigate what exactly do I want and how can I get it to work the way I want it to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then you have, because of the stuff that the government's doing, you have people who are very paranoid about, there was a comic I saw earlier where it's, it has someone talking to an Alexa something, and it says, okay, surveillance machine, where can I buy some more of this?
Can we do a little experiment?
Yeah.
Alexa, buy more toilet paper. Now, if I just bought you toilet paper, please leave a comment and let me know. Because I think stuff like that's going to be an issue. Like, how are you going to prevent that? What are you going to do? You didn't even know that was coming. Did I just buy you toilet paper? Did that get charged on your credit card?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a violation? Or did I trick you?
And that's why some of this still feels like a gimmick. Even the voice activated prompts on our phones.
Yeah.
I remember going to an ingress anomaly. It was the last time it was up in Minneapolis. We were driving. I remember wanting so bad I didn't do it, and I should have. But I remember wanting to roll down the window and yell out the window as loud as I could, "Okay, Google," just to watch people panic.
Dude,
Hey Siri. I've done it in groups before, but
yeah. Now, granted, the voice recognition of Google has been getting a lot better.
No one else can activate mine but myself, which I think I just tried to activate it when I said that.
Yeah. Now, back when I got Glass, it wasn't. And once people knew that you said, "Okay, Glass," like, I had some of the most random searches because people would just start talking, and it was awful. It was terrible.
I don't remember if Google Home, I'll have to ask Kyle, if Google Home has the voice recognition in it yet or not. I know that if he does, he doesn't have it set up because we were all messing with it last time I was over there. When
I stopped by, I was able to use it, so I don't. But it's run by the same assistant, so you'd think there'd be some there, at least a way to train it.
Well, but this is Google.
Yeah, and it's meant to be Is it meant to be a multi-user device?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Like I said, I have to do a little bit more digging with it. But, I haven't gotten into it yet just because I don't necessarily trust. There are some things I'll trust outside servers too, and there's some things I won't. And I don't want to fragment my stuff all over 5 or 6 different services.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I think I'm liking Home, is because it is allowing all like the other services to connect to it and work.
Yeah.
But like I don't have a need to have another device so I can like dim my lights or change the color yet. I don't.
No, but I wouldn't mind being able to look at my phone and seeing, are my doors locked? Is my garage door closed?
Yeah.
Are my lights turned off?
Yeah.
Oh, let me push a button and turn my outside. I was out later than I thought I wanted to be. I want to have my porch lights on when I get home. I would like to be able to do that kind of stuff. But I don't know if I want to who I want to trust to rely into to do those things.
Yeah. I have a Nest thermostat at my shop.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I've gotten into it. Mostly because I know I think it'll still work as a thermostat even without internet connection, which is fine. But I like that it knows when I'm leaving home and going to work, and then it sets my winter temperature at 76. And I get to my shop and it's 76 degrees because it knows I'm on the way there.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff is absolutely amazing, and I want that.
Yeah.
But when I see these articles like this where, okay, if I piss them off, are they just going to completely shut me down and shut me out? That worries me, especially if I'm going to be getting a service that connects my locks with cameras, with everything else. Do I really want the ability of having someone be able to access and shut me off at their whim? What expectation should we have that people can't or won't do that?
Yeah, I mean, what's your point where you would, like, what would make you buy some internet connected locks from a company? Like, what do you think your prerequisites would be?
My prereq right now, what I'm looking for is something that I can low energy Bluetooth walk up to. It recognizes my phone, will unlock or lock however it goes, and connects to a local server and a local server only. If I can run a server in my house that I can then dial into and connect to from my phone without it going external, to someone else's server, like a central server or something, and I can check the status and I can either turn it on or turn it off, I would love to be able to do that.
So what happens if what happens if your internet connection goes out? This is something I've been wondering. Like if my locks,
so QuickSet, there's a couple companies I've looked into. One is QuickSet, which is just a low energy Bluetooth without connecting to any servers, and it's still a full lock tumbler system. You have a key and everything else.
Okay.
The other one I was looking at was, hang on, fill in while I look this up real quick.
Yeah. I hadn't fully thought of that. I've never really looked into like connected door locks. So I was, I'm thinking about that now. I'm like, man, what happens if it loses connection? Does it require power? Where does it get power? Into a door with moving parts. Like how there would have to be physical, you'd still have to have a key. You'd still have to have the key with you.
And that's where a secondary. So I'm looking at these things, and most of the smart locks out there still have the ability to be able to have a key.
Yeah.
So the other one's called the August Smart Lock that I've been kind of looking at. And so what it does is you replace the inside for your deadbolt. You replace the inside mechanism with this thing, which will physically turn. So you can physically turn it to lock it or unlock it. And it's also low energy Bluetooth. So the outside doesn't look any different. It just looks like a standard keyhole. And on the inside is where the mechanism is that will twist to up, unlock, twist to lock. It has the ability if you wish. So it runs off of 2 double or AAA batteries. So it's remotely powered that way. Then you can also buy a bridge, a Wi-Fi bridge that will connect it to your home Wi-Fi system, and you can connect to that to give out, to create keys, grant access, and all that stuff. So if I knew you were coming over, I could say, hey, download their, and this is where I'm a little cautious on, I could say download their app. I can build you a key that only works for a 1 hour period between X and Y. You can use that with your phone to get in, but after that time, it locks you back out again.
Huh.
So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the August Smart Lock system.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. But the other one I was looking at that was just Bluetooth was the Quickset.
Might have to look into this. My parents are doing some renovations this summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
I've been keep looking at stuff, and I'm like, wonder if I could go geek out on their house.
So you can either, for the Quickset ones, you can either utilize your low energy Bluetooth once again, or you can do a key fob system. And it does 4 AA batteries in this thing to do it, but it completely replaces out the entire deadbolt. So, they're not cheap though either. That's the other half of it.
How much?
The Quickset's about $230 a lock, and the August is about $150 a pop, plus another $70 for the Wi-Fi, or $62 for the Wi-Fi bridge. You can also get a doorbell cam for $180 through August. So it's a doorbell plus a little camera. You can see who's peering at you.
I think I'd rather have a camera system on its own thing. What do you think of the Nest cams, though?
Nest cams are nice.
Yeah.
They tend to be a little pricey, but they're nice.
Yeah, they're pretty high quality video. I've been looking into them. I do have one camera on my porch, but it's just an older Foscam IP camera.
I've got an IP camera here at the house that I use for the kids' room.
Nice.
So I can kind of keep an eye on her. And it's got a night vision thing on there, but
I know my brother has some Nest cams in his house, and he loves them. But that's another thing, is it seems as it depends on their service, like their monthly subscription fee for the server storage.
Yep.
And I don't I guess I haven't looked into it, but I don't think there's a way to set up your own server for it.
Yeah, not for Nest, and that's why until I figure out, that's why I haven't invested any money until I figure out the system that I want to build, because I will be building my own. I don't know if I'm either going to build my own or I'm going to go straight through Google, but I'll probably end up building my own. And we'll see how it works out. I mean, but what do you think? You think this whole thing's a gimmick, or you think this is the future, the whole Internet of Things?
I think it's the future. I think everything will be connected eventually. You know, and we're seeing it in cars. Once it's in the cars, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, I see it as in its current state right now. It's kind of gimmicky.
Yeah.
But I do see it becoming the future of how we'll interact, not just with our phones and not just our vehicles, but how we'll interact with our homes.
Yeah. I think it's not completely gimmicky, but yeah, it's like a lot of stuff is. The thermostat was what really changed my mind. And I was like, okay, things are going somewhere. Like knowing that when it's connected to its server, it watches the temperature outside compared to inside, and it knows. I had to put in some information about the building, so it knows what kind of heat system there is and what, you know, like the insulative properties or whatever.
Yep.
I think, but it tries to, when we're not there, it tries to save me money.
Yeah.
And that's its default. And when I'm there, it tries to keep me warm while also saving me money.
Or cool, whatever the time of year might be.
So, and it did a good job. It does what it wants to, like it does its own thing, and it's doing it well. And I know that technology can be brought to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Being able to use a voice command to order toilet paper, although pretty handy, like I want to know here's the thing. I want to know what kind of toilet paper did I order, you guys? How many rolls? What, like,
Amazon, the way Amazon sets that up does make sense. So if you use like the little gadget buttons or whatever, the button push.
The dash buttons?
You have to, the dash button. You have to program it to a particular order set. So if you order 24 rolls of Angel Soft, you program the button directly into that. So when you push the button, it will always order from the same thing. It won't just randomly pick out what it's going to order. So I have a feeling the voice commands is set up almost the exact same way. So where you have to pre-tell it ahead of time and set it up. This is the kind that I want.
So if they don't have a dash button set up for toilet paper, I didn't order them anything.
I believe so.
Dang.
But if they did,
well, that solved part of my conundrum. Then that was gonna part of my test. I wanted to know what would happen.
It typically, or if you don't have something set up for it, it'll pop up something and say, what kind of toilet paper would you like? Or here's the list of toilet papers, etc., etc. But I think that's about all the time we have this week.
Okay. Okay, Google, subscribe to Wonderbury. Alexa, subscribe to our Patreon. Siri, listen to us on iTunes. And we'll catch you all next week.
See you guys next week.